The following program is brought to you in living color on NBC.
Well, good evening, Pipe Pals. How you doing? It is I, the Holy Smoking Pipe Andre, saying Happy New Year! Happy New Year, yes. Happy, joy. You know, let me go ahead and get a quick sip of coffee here. This, I'm not even going to bother trying to color correct this thing. It's all over the map. So hopefully, as long as it's in focus. Sorry about the color correction there, or the lack thereof. Well, good evening, and I hope you're doing well. Okay, so actually, as I make this, it's 2016. It's the last couple hours. Oh, I'd say it's probably like 7 o'clock here. It's about 7:15. And I'm smoking actually, I'm kind of doing two different things tonight. I got this Dunhill here, my black Church Warden. Let's see, now the video camera is right about there, so I can hold there. So this way. Gorgeous black, licorice black Church Warden, Dunhill Church Warden. And then later tonight, I thought I might do some celebrating by smoking this amber root Dunhill. Notice how the silver is gleaming. All I did was take a little bit of tobacco ash from another tobacco and liberally rubbed it all over there. And look how gleaming it is. And in this pipe, what I'm going to probably try and smoke, maybe a little bit later, is some Burberry, compliments of Thomisius Puffendorfer, or Parpendorf. And then, I don't know about you, but W.O. Larson's signature blend just seems like it's just a perfect New Year's Eve kind of a blend. I don't know about you, but I'm thinking New Year's Eve, something kind of special. And so that's why I have this W.O. Larson. And I want to make a comparison between W.O. Larson and Burberry. If you would notice, this has a gold foil pouch. And this also has a gold foil pouch, and they're both Cavendish blends. Kind of a very nice black Cavendish. Well, not black, but kind of golden black there. They're very similar in aroma and flavor. And so anyway, W. Larson, one of my favorites. Absolutely one of my favorites. And then I have some remnants of St. Bruno here. St. Bruno, how long does he stay fresh in this? Well, he can stay pretty fresh for quite a while. Okay. And then tomorrow, after I'm done with everything, I will probably celebrate the new year with a beautiful Gurkha cigar. Yeah, okay. And I'm also drinking tonight a cup of Joe with some cream, and I'm going to tell you why. I'm celebrating because I know that a lot of people, and I just made my Auld Lang Syne 2016 video a couple days ago. Thank you for watching. But that was last year. This is the new year, 2017. Woo! And as probably some of you know, I like to celebrate the new year. Now, when I talk about celebrating the new year, maybe some people might kind of mistake for, we're like, party, and drinking, copious amounts of adult beverages that can impair your judgment, shall we say? So the thing is that I celebrate the new year, at least I've been trying to, and I want to talk about this because I know some people probably are a little bit, cynical, maybe skeptical, a little bit jaundiced, if you will. It's not bad, St. Bruno. And I have to be honest, I did let it dry out just a wee bit, and then I rehydrated it, and it's quite good. Ah, Gerald Finzi. Wow. It's very evocative music for me. Well, that takes me back a couple of years. Wow. Oh, I really love this piece of music. If you get a chance to, I don't know if it's going to pick up or not. I hope it doesn't, because then YouTube gives me that copyright violation strike thing. But anyway, I digress. I got a little carried away there by the moment. Forgive me. A little bit of nostalgia. That's kind of the way it is with New Year's, huh? New Year's Eve. You kind of say goodbye to things and realize that, the year that's passed is the year that's passed, and it's over. But a new one's on the way. Reborn in just a few hours. There is hope. There really is. And that's what I want to talk about. I mean, now, I shared with you in my last video some of my successes and some of my failures. And I'm not afraid to say that, yeah, I had some, some failures, sort of, kind of. And I'm not going to dwell on that because I already shared all that, so I don't want to do a rehash. But so what does the new year mean to you? How do you celebrate the new year, And so for me to celebrate the new year, it means that, yeah, I look at my life and I say, okay, this is where I am tonight, 2016, but where would I like to be a year from now? And, a lot of people say, well, I don't like making resolutions because I always break them. Well, and there's some truth to that. I mean, I didn't keep mine completely. But I would dare say if I had just not tried anything, who knows where I'd be, And I just have to say that there's a lot of good things that you can do as you move forward, This morning, I got up and, throughout the day, one of the things that I did, I got a haircut, what little I have left now. I'm going to try and comb it forward a little bit because I don't know what else to do with it. So, my hair is thin and wispy and it's thinning and I'm just getting old. But today I got up and a couple of things that several things that I've done. One is I kind of went through and started literally letting go of some past things. Just letting go. It's okay to let go. And so, you don't have to hold on to every single thing. You don't have to archive everything in your life. That's one of my big problems. I'm a recovering pack rat, I guess some of you probably picked up on that maybe. I'm an organized pack rat, but I'm still a pack rat, and I'm a recovering pack rat. And one of the things that I really like to do now is I like to say, okay, we need to get rid of these things. And sometimes you just have to. One of the things I'm a bit sad about, and I feel very irresponsible, is food consumption and waste. I'm getting better, but I still have a long ways to go. And one of those things is trying to use, not try to store things for very long. And after a certain point, they're no good. Like, for example, I had some, I think some chicken and some ground beef. Not a lot, but a few pieces of chicken and I think one or two little things of ground beef that I was thinking, well, I'll have that as just an emergency if I can't get to the store, and I could maybe thaw something out pretty quick and make a quick meal for myself. Well, problem was that stuff, some of that stuff probably been there almost 2 years. I've been here almost 2 years, and when I first got here, I bought some staples, and I thought, well, I'll just buy some of these basic things, and I will use them in the course of the year. Well, you know, God bless other people. They'd bring me, oh, here's some, you know, here's a chicken or here's a pork chops or whatever, and I just, well, I'll stick it in the freezer. So then it starts getting piled on. I used some of it, but I didn't use all of it, and I feel really kind of bad about that. But you have to be able to let go. You have to say, you know what, I don't know about you, but if you've ever tried to thaw out a year-old steak and eat it, it's not tasty. It's pretty bad. And if you're really into penance, that might not be a bad thing. But then again, I don't know how healthy it is either. Because anyway, so you just have to let it go. So again, making resolutions is a positive thing, even if you don't quite keep it. So maybe for this year, basically I'm going to try to repeat what I did last year. And although I almost did the full year of no sugar, it came to an end on December 4th, you know, about 4 weeks ago. And the last week I've been slowly just getting rid of everything, not buying any more cakes or cookies or pies. And to be honest, I have to say that it's like almost a no-brainer now. I don't think, well, I went to the store a couple days ago and I started seeing all the goodies again. And I kind of seemed like the little switch kind of went back on, saying, you know, well, we're not doing that now. We're just not doing that. And I'm happy that I can, you know, be able to turn it on and off, you know, but at the same time, I have to now. So this year, what I'm doing, and the reason why I'm drinking this delicious coffee with some heavy whipping cream is because, with the exception of grass-fed butter for the arthritis, which clearly helps me big time, I am not going to have any more heavy cream, no more cheeses, because I'd have like artisanal cheeses once in a while. Not a lot, but I'd have more than I should. And mayo. I love mayo. Gotta be honest with you, I love mayo. Homemade mayo, wow, that's great stuff. So this year I'm going to add to the sugar and the grains, saying goodbye to dairy. So I have like a little bit of heavy whipping cream for probably one more cup of coffee. Hopefully I'll be able to finish it before the new year rings in, and then starting tomorrow, that's it. No sour cream, no cheese, no heavy whipping cream. I got rid of milk a long time ago. I had one actually last couple weeks ago when I had some pie. I got a small quart of milk and I had a glass of the milk, and it just didn't taste good. Now maybe it was bad, I don't know. I mean, no, it wasn't in there for 6 months. No. Yeah, I'll leave it in here for 6 months. It'll be fine. It'll be great, you know. No. But anyway, So that's what I'm going to basically do everything I've been doing this past year. The walking, I want to really try to say, you know what? I really need to maybe just say two things. 2 times a week, do the interval running, which kind of basically does the interval running. Yeah, that was always very good for me. So I think that's what I really want to do. I want to really kind of focus on that. And again, when you're making your resolutions, make them realistic. Make them realistic. You know, you don't have to do what I'm doing. But when you say, okay, what would I like to change? Maybe just change one little thing. Just one little thing and make it a daily habit. You know, I finished up my pull-ups and my push-ups, the last set for 2016. That was those were one of the two things that I actually did all the way through, with the exception of one, I think 2 sick days. I had 2 sick days, and I put it on the calendar. So when you go to write up your resolutions, you know, be smart about it. You know, say, okay, this is what I resolved to do. And then if you say, but I don't know if I can do that, you know, for a whole year, you know, then kind of maybe build in, if you need to, build in kind of a cheat day where you can try and have a little bit of the, whatever it is that you're trying to quote unquote give up. So try and be realistic with where you are, what you want to accomplish. But the thing is, try. Just try is the thing that I want to say, is don't be afraid of trying. See, what New Year's is all about isn't about you got to keep your resolutions. Because the moment you quit, I mean, the moment you have a stumble, a lot of us are this way, where a lot of us are kind of black and white people. We're either all or nothing kind of, you know, mentality. That'll already set you up big time. So what I say is try and look at it as, okay, I'm going to try, I'm going to endeavor, nice word I like, to make these changes. And again, New Year's is about a second chance. It's about, okay, I messed up. Maybe I messed up last year. Maybe I didn't keep all my resolutions. Maybe I didn't keep any of them, but I tried. So this year you kind of say, well, I'm going to try something else. Okay? For example, this year I'm going to try, although I got to be honest, I'm a little skeptical, but we'll see. I have an idea for a diet, my kind of diet, that guys, sometimes every now and then, you know, you get a pipe that's really good. This is a good New Year's Eve pipe. Oh, one thing, I'm going to digress just a little bit on the diet thing. I'll be right back to the diet thing, I promise. But if I lived next to like the Tinderbox or the Briar Patch or another really nice pipe tobacco shop, I could still probably do it. I would love to get a dress pipe, a New Year's Eve beautiful black dress pipe, probably a Dunhill, yeah. So this is kind of the closest I got to a dress pipe. I mean, it's black and I mean, it's kind of elegant looking. I mean, it's a New Year's Eve kind of a pipe, but a really cool dress pipe, a black lacquer dress pipe. Ooh, that's what I want. That's what I'm looking for. Maybe 2017 might be the year. Who knows? But anyway, getting back to diet, I'm going to design, I've already been thinking about it for the last 2 months, a diet for me. It probably won't be a strict keto diet because I'm going to introduce a little bit of fruit. I'm going to do what I kind of like I did when I was doing CrossFit. Because I just feel really, really super tired all the time. Now, it could be just this virus thing that I have, and I think it's maybe hopefully coming to an end. But I'm going to introduce kind of my own diet, and I'm going to try it for a month. Now, tomorrow I am going to have a very nice dinner. But after that, Monday, I get to start on this new diet. And what it basically is, it's going to borrow certain components from, different diet regimes and my own personal experience. Although the ketogenic diet, the Atkins diet, which I've done now several times, this last time, probably the longest I've ever done that type of a diet for almost a year, which was a good diet. Don't get me wrong. I think it is a good diet. I'm going to still do the intermittent fasting, probably one meal a day, the OMAD thing. Well, probably won't be exactly like that. But I am going to introduce probably some legumes back into the old diet, because there was a diet that I did right after I did the Atkins diet for about 3 or 4 months, and to be honest, as far as the way I was able to assimilate and to process my food, it all seemed to work. It seemed like I had a really healthy, flowing digestive system, and that's what I'm looking for this year. So beans are really good for you, and so I'm going to try to reintroduce beans if I can. The only problem is that I do tend to break out, and I don't know if this is part of it. I don't know if it's autoimmune. I don't know yet. But anyway, I'm going to try. And I have a special diet to where I'm going to have the micronutrients, I'm going to have the protein, and it's going to be really a lot more balanced than what I used to do. So it's going to require me to move my game up another level, because it's going to be more about real portion control with the healthy balanced diet. So it's going to be a little bit more regimented. It's not going to have a list of do's and don'ts. It's just going to be kind of like, okay, I'm going to have this at this time of the day. I'm going to have this at this time of the day. I'm going to have this amount and no more. I'm not going to give myself permission for seconds or large portions, because I'm just not able to do that like I used to. And I think if I can just work my way into that regime, I think things are going to be even better than they were this last year. So that's my desire, and that's my goal. So those of you who were kind of wondering what I was thinking about doing this year, pretty much the same, but I am going to tweak everything to make it to where it's a diet that I know will be good for me, not just trying to follow somebody else's plan. But again, it's like I said, it's it's borrowing from other diet protocols, but I'm going to try to mix and match them to something personal, tailor make it for me. So maybe that's what I need to do. I've never done that before. I'm kind of excited about it, and I'll let you know at the end of January how things are going, okay? Because it's really important that I give at least 30 days to get into this and see how doable it is, how realistic it is, and how palatable it is. And I think it'll be pretty good. And I'll tell you more about it hopefully at the end of January, when I get 1 full month of this kind of eating protocol and my personal diet, and just see how it goes, okay? So I won't say anything right now, because everything's still kind of in the making, but I will share all those details with you, I promise, at the end of the first month, okay? It kind of helps keep me accountable, gives me a goal to set, a realistic goal, and we'll just see where I'm at, at the end of January. And I'm kind of excited about that. Oh, well, okay. We have our little box, our little Christmas box. Now, this is going to be kind of like, inside this box is kind of the topic that I want to talk about in this video. So let's open up the little Christmas box, see what's in there, shall we? Okay? Okay. The Christmas box. Okay. This was a gift from somebody, and I just love it. I think it's cute. I'm going to keep it. And here we have a couple of little notes to myself of things I wanted to talk about this evening. Okay. Little snowman Christmas box. Okay. All right. We all watch lots of YouTube videos, and I just wanted to kind of go through some things that I have found interesting in the year 2016. And I'm sure a lot of you have encountered some of these as well. Let's get a little more fire. Okay. as I've been wandering through the great wastelands of YouTube, don't get me wrong, I certainly like YouTube, as we all do. Pipe cleaners, very important. But I am amazed. I'm mystified. I'm sometimes puzzled by some of the things that I see online. Ah, that's good. And for example, now I'm not here to incite anything. I'm not here to get anybody upset or anything. I really am not. But I just want to say these things because these are things that if you watch YouTube, you're going to go, oh, really? I didn't know that. Excuse me. Did you know that the moon landings were all faked? I don't know. Did you know that? Did you? Did you know that? Did you know that? The moon landings were faked. Also, 9/11 was an inside job. Yep, a lot of people believe that. Also, I learned this year that the Earth is indeed flat. Yes, it is. Flat as a pancake. That's what YouTube revealed to me this year. Just watching a video yesterday, and did you know that Adolf Hitler actually escaped to Argentina? He didn't die in the bunker. He and Eva Braun went to Argentina. And he died, I think, in the late 1968 or something like that. That's what YouTube told me. Also, there's a lot of interesting videos. There's one that I think historically probably has some validity, but and this is controversial, and I'm just gonna put this young lady's picture up here now. This is, how many of you have heard of Evalion? Evalion. She is a rather attractive young woman from Canada. Why is it all of these interesting YouTubers are from Canada? I've noticed that too. Just like Smugglypuff. Hey, I kind of like a Smugglypuff. Old version. Oh gosh, I tell you. Better be careful what I say. But this young girl, Evalion, actually says that Hitler was a nice guy. Or he wasn't that bad. I guess that's what she says. He wasn't that bad. Also, I've seen videos that question the Holocaust. Now, I haven't seen any that actually deny it, but they say the numbers are in need of revision. I guess that's, in fact, that's what they call some of these people, Holocaust revisionists. And then there is the one called Firestorm or something like that, or Hellstorm, and it does talk about something that, although we kind of knew about it, but we didn't talk about it, the bombings that we did, England and America did. Oh, that's another one, that Churchill was a fake, I guess. Churchill was kind of a fake, so if you're a big Churchill fan, sorry if I hurt your feelings there. But basically, but we did do a lot of horrible things during World War II, which didn't get a lot of play. And that one there is historically accurate, that we did bomb, all these German cities. We firebombed them. And historically, I don't think you can deny that. I'm not saying that, again, I don't want to make sure people don't hear me saying anything that's anti-American or anti-patriotic, but still, the horrors of war is something that we probably will never, well, hopefully we won't experience in our lifetime, but But those people in World War II, man, there are people all over Europe that just went through so much suffering and horror. It was just terrible, So, but anyway, these are some of the things that you kind of, and I don't want to bring up the alien things, okay? Because I know a lot of people, you know, they love aliens. And I'm not talking about illegal aliens. I'm just talking about the real kind of aliens, the ones that, you know, they come down from wherever and they visit and they, you know, they do 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 do. Okay, those kind of aliens. So, okay, so where am I going with all this? Well, a lot of things on the internet, YouTube and other social media outlets, they just have a way of, oh, and that was the other thing. The last thing was that the election, that the Russians elected Donald Trump. And I don't know how they did that, but supposedly the Russians were the ones that elected Donald Trump. I guess that's what they're saying, okay? Now, some of you may believe that. I'm not saying it's, you can't believe that. If that's what you believe, that's what you believe. But the problem as I see it, and this is where you see a lot of people who have different attitudes and different opinions, sometimes you can get really overwhelmed with these things, these revisionist ideas. You know, I mean, it seems like every single thing that when I grew up with, that we just took as kind of a priori, you know, that's just the way it is. It's a given. You know, everything's now being questioned. Every single thing is being questioned. It's being turned upside down. It's being turned inside out. And got to take a break here. You know, I can see where after a while it gets really kind of draining, because you kind of scratch your head and you go, well, gosh, you know, they make some pretty good points there. You know, historically, you know, you can kind of verify some of these things and say, well, okay, that happened, that's true. You know, or they open a door to sort of say, well, maybe it's not what I thought it was. You know, it's like, okay, what's going on here? And I kind of suspect that a lot of people, and we all can do this, is we kind of project our deepest, darkest fears on something or someone, or maybe all the above. And I know there are a lot of people right now, as we move ever so quickly now into 2017, you know, they're afraid of the president-elect, thinking, oh my gosh, this guy, in fact, a lot of people think he is Hitler. You know, a lot of people have made those projections. They've kind of put all that negative stuff on him. And again, I'm not really overly concerned. Maybe I should be. Some people are, well, you should be, you know. I went through 8 years of President Obama, and you know, his term is over. He has a few more days, and then he will be, you know, pretty much in the history books. And I was not, like I said, I've shared with you before, I wasn't that sanguine when he was elected, not because of his color, not because of his nationality, but basically because of his politics. I'm afraid that he, you know, now again, the reason why we're in this big upheaval right now, this colliding of ideas, is because there are a lot of people who are fearful of the future. And they kind of feel like, well, maybe our past way of doing things hasn't worked. Look at all the problems that we have. It's maybe time to maybe just either have an internal revolution or some kind of a change in the way we govern, the way we do business here, and maybe just change the whole thing. And a lot of people are being, I think, seduced into thinking that globalism, for lack of a better term, is the way to go. Let's all just be one citizen of one world, and we'll all be join hands and sing Kumbaya and buy each other a Coke. So a lot of people, a lot of young people especially, kind of feel that that's the way to go. And I think part of it has to do with the fact that they were trained or indoctrinated by a lot of educators who, instead of basically teaching them how to read and write and how to do some science and maybe teaching them some trade skills as well, helping to be fully rounded children and young adults and responsible adults, basically just indoctrinated them and pretty much poisoned them and didn't really give them a real foundation, at least to think for themselves. So the bottom line is that political correctness, I think, has a lot to do with the undermining of the country, the nation, structures of the faith. People can look at the problems and say, oh, that institution's bad. The government's bad. The church is bad. The school systems are bad. You can just find whatever it is you don't like, find fault with it, and just say it's bad. And we gotta destroy it. We gotta tear it down and build it all over again. Well, good luck. That's all I'll say is good luck. But and again, I see a lot of articles again on the internet that basically say that Christianity is pretty much it's a spent philosophical system, and people are leaving the church in droves, and people no longer associate with any kind of organized religion. They're basically saying they're non-religious. Atheism is growing, and I think what I would like to say probably is that the thing that's different now than it was, say, 30 years ago, and this is just 30 years. I'd say, 30 years is about accurate. But what's changed? What has changed? What has changed is what's going on right here and now. You and me. Every single human being now, through the advent of technology and a smartphone and an internet connection, you can have a platform. You want to be a vegan and be a vegan person and talk about the virtues of veganism? The world's your oyster. The world's your stage. Have at it. Create content. Whatever your passion in life is, you now have if you will, a bully pulpit, called YouTube or called Facebook or called Vimeo or Snapchat or Instagram. You can share your ideas with the world. And every human being can have their own TV channel. Don't you just love it? You can be a star in your own mind. You don't even have to worry about cancellations. I was reading something about the Donna Reed show. One of my favorite all-time actors. Didn't really watch the TV show when I was growing up because I just didn't watch it. Maybe my mom did. But, how many TV shows have there been? There have been some really great ones, and there have been a lot of also-rans that came on for a season, maybe a year or two. One of my favorite TV shows when I was growing up was The Time Tunnel. I loved that TV show, Time Tunnel. And Johnny Quest. Boy, I'm dating myself now, aren't I? And the Flintstones. I like the Flintstones too. But basically, those were cool things because there were only 3 channels when I was growing up. Only 3! ABC, NBC, CBS, and that was it. And you only got what they put out there. Now, sometimes they did some pretty cool stuff. PBS, I forgot PBS. But for the most part, you were pretty, and then until UHF came in, and then we had here in Sacramento area, TV 40. Oh, Fox TV4, that was cool. And I've said this before, so I won't go into more about that. But that was sort of like, wow, we have UHF too. That was cool. Those were the stations that were, well, they were kind of like, in some ways, they were kind of like the YouTube is today, because they weren't like the big, stations like in New York or Los Angeles. They were kind of like little mom and pop kind of TV stations. They were people that were kind of like playing with TV. They had some stuff that they could play with, and they could kind of, it was like, what is it? Not CB radio, ham radio. Old Dig Sex as a ham radio operator, I think, And that was kind of a cool thing. I don't know that much about it, but they had some really sophisticated, I guess they still do. But anyway, those were like kind of pioneers. You kind of looked at them as like, they were almost kind of like, some kid that broke into the back of the store and started putting together the railroad train set and playing with it when nobody was watching, They weren't doing anything bad or wrong. It's just that nobody really took them all that seriously. It's like, interesting, It's kind of like you could kind of, and he also had to kind of dial in that UHF channel. You had this little special little dial that could kind of go really fuzzy, I think it was, and then you kind of turn it a little bit and it got clearer and clearer, and then it would get fuzzy again. And then when it would start running up and down the lines in the TV screen, then you finally get, stop, right there. My goodness, that takes me back. And then TV stations at like 2:00 in the morning, they go off. They play the national anthem and play a couple of really cool little videos. There was one about high flight, which I always got a real, made the hairs on my neck stand up. I always felt this like God feeling, like, wow, this is very inspirational and kind of beautiful, and very thought provoking. Anyway, maybe I'll play that in the background. I don't know. I still have that somewhere. I downloaded it a few years ago. Found it on YouTube. Yep, there it is. Download it, and there it is. For all to see. But anyway, so I digress. So the thing is that everybody has a voice, and the problem is, and if you want to call it fake news or artificial news or news from the far right or news from the far left, I do think that people that are in broadcast, and I mean, again, I'm not a broadcaster. You're not a broadcaster. I mean, in a small sense, yeah. Isn't that amazing that, you and I put our videos up and anybody in the whole world can watch them. Not that very many people watch my videos, and that's okay. But I'm just saying that everybody it's amazing. We never had this before. Yeah, everybody, there was always been people out there, and they've always had opinions. But for the most part, they kind of kept them to themselves, and they kind of like, they had other things to do. They didn't have time to make content on YouTube or, post to their Facebook page. And they just didn't, that was not part of daily life 30 years ago. It just wasn't. So, as we look at 2017, I guess what I would say to those who are apprehensive, even fearful, and angry, maybe some angry people out there too, it's okay to be angry. But I would say, in some ways, and whether you want to believe that everything we see is kind of like the Matrix, it's not real, it's only a simulation. I mean, some people actually believe that. And but I guess that goes back full circle, is that the only life I can change is my own. Can't change you. Not trying, but can't change you even if I wanted to. But I think where a lot of people we're seeing a lot of people now, they do want to change the world according to what they believe and what they think. Whether it's the vegans, You know, I got to be honest with you, I did not enjoy this past year politically. I'm glad it's over, you know, Benedictus Deus in Secula, thanks be to God. Oh, by the way, somebody keeps asking me, do you wear a medal? And I do. I've been meaning to share this real quick. I wear a little St. Francis medal, okay, a little cross there, have for years and years and years. Don't know why I'm bringing that up now. I just reminded that somebody had asked me the question. I thought, well, I'll answer it on my next video to you, whoever you are, and you know who you are. But again, a lot of people are radically trying to change the world to the way they see it. And that's, I think, where we're having this collision of ideas and stuff. It's sort of like, you know what it's like? It's like driving. I know I've used this analogy before. We've got hundreds of millions of people who can get on the internet and share their ideas. And we have hundreds of millions of people who affiliate themselves with political, religious, philosophical movements. And everything that I see is, for the most part, everybody is in one camp. And they kind of look at other people who are not in their camp as the enemy. And what do you do with the enemy? You have to destroy them, right? Now, if you like Mad Max, then maybe you would like that kind of anarchy, driving along in your car, and if somebody isn't on part of your gang or whatever, yeah, let's destroy them, let's kill them, let's get rid of them. But isn't it nicer that you could be driving with millions of people and not everybody feels the same way or believes the same way you do, and yet we share the same, you know, infrastructure, you know? I drive to work, and you know, you drive to work and you're a vegan. Don Bauer, he sometimes makes one of his videos driving to work, I guess, or driving home from work, whatever. And he shares his views on veganism. Most of the time, he'll be driving and he'll just talk about a vegan topic. But again, he's an example, and I mean a positive example. I'm not here to downgrade him. He doesn't like me, but that's okay. But you know, again, I was sitting there thinking after this contentious political year, I'm going to go back just to worrying about that diet and exercise and just kind of focus on that. And I completely forgot the vegan, non-vegan, you know, battle that's raging. It seems to even be worse than it was when I left it a couple months ago. Again, everybody has an opinion. Everybody has an ideology. Well, I mean, yeah, everybody does have an ideology of something. It may not be religious based. It may not even be politically based. It just may be that this is my credo in life, and this is how I do. This is how I live my life, and that's great. And I think that as long as people can respect, again, the differences, we have a better chance. But what worries me, what's my concern, whether you want to talk about radical Islam, again, I'm not here to talk about radical Islam, but I think they're kind of like, if I dare say, kind of the poster child of what I'm talking about, is it's their way or no way at all. There's no middle ground. There's no room for you to have different opinion. If you have a different opinion, then you will not be tolerated. Off with your head. Literally, in some cases. And I think that it, you know, again, if think about rush hour in Paris, driving around the Arc de Triomphe, you know, craziness that people drive around, you know, but yet somehow it works. Because why? Even though you may not like the person, maybe you don't have anything in common with them, you share the same road, and you have rules of the road that you all respect and you try to live by. And I think that's the way it is with political life or philosophical life. You know, sometimes people, you know, have strong opinions. And but the best thing to do is try to discuss things, even though you may not even agree. You may never convince the other person that they're right or wrong or whatever. But as long as you can kind of have that respectful discourse, things will be okay. But the moment you begin to, oh, that's cute. The moment, I just got a little text message. I don't know if it shows up in the video or not. I don't think it does. Maybe it does. I don't know. But the moment we start looking at people as enemies, and I think Dr. Jordan Peterson said this in his University of Toronto debate, which happened a few weeks ago. He did say that, I think, to some extent. We don't want to be looking at people as enemies. We really want to engage in discussion. But when you start throwing pejorative, inflammatory words at your opponent, and you try to back them up into a corner, you're not going to have an effective dialogue. Again, you don't have to, not everybody has to agree, and not everybody has to believe the same way. If you want to follow a Christian life, then right now you're free to do that. If you want to be a Muslim and you want to be a practicing, peaceful Muslim, you're free to do that. If you want to be an atheist, and drink copious amounts of brown ale and sing Hobbit songs, you can do that. I said that for Gary. Okay, Gary, that's for you. Gary is a big Hobbit. Got another nice card from Gary. Very thoughtful card. The Gentleman Scholar. Okay. So I'm hoping everybody is having a happy new year. And I guess what I'd say in closing is don't let yourself get sucked into, fearful thinking. Don't do that. Because you know what? I'm 60 years old now, and I've been through many different presidential cabinets, and I mean not personally. I've never. And what I mean is, different political regimes come and gone. And the one that's going to be taking place now, I wish our new president-elect. I will not. I'd be less than honest to say I don't wish him well. I do. I wish President Obama well. I'm sad to say I don't think he was good for the country. I mean, there are other people who think that maybe this current, this new future president won't be good for the country. But to be honest with you, I don't want to say that it didn't have a lot of impact on me personally. It could, who knows? I don't want to get into speculations and stuff like that. Again, all I'm saying is that this old regime is coming to an end, and a new one will begin. The cycle of life kind of continues, whether it's political, philosophical, it's exercise and health and diet. Those are the things that, it's kind of like, that's why I like New Year's. It's renewable. It's like you get a second chance. That's the wonderful thing. You get a second chance to try to do better, to be a better person for your family, your friends, your neighbors, your parishioners, your constituents. I mean, no, I'm not running. I'm really not. I'm not here to campaign. I really am not. But I'm just saying you get a second chance. How many of us ever wanted a second chance in life? Well, in a kind of a real way, maybe, although it's not as tangible because it's kind of one of these, intangible things. The clock turns midnight tonight and supposedly it's a new year. Well, on the calendar, it is a new year. It's a new year. It's like an open, empty canvas, and you can make little changes and say, okay, that's what this whole thing about, the thing I'm excited about and have been for the last, now going almost on 4 years, is epigenetics. And I don't know that much about it other than, yes, we all have a basic genome that has programmed our bodies to either be healthy or sick, And the things that we do epigenetically can either influence them to be a positive switch that's turned on, or we can turn those things off. So, for example, old Holy Smoking Pipe Pod Ray has got a genetic default where I just don't process alcohol like I used to. Actually, I never did, other than I used to drink lots of it. Oh, one of the things that I am so happy. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to wake up sober. I'll have a clear head. I won't be going, oh. I won't be going, what did I do last night? What did I say? Oh. I won't have to worry about those things. I don't have to worry about smelling like a brewery and people going, have you been drinking? I won't be slurring my speech. I won't be doing stupid, embarrassing things. I won't feel like, 195 pounds of crap. in the morning. But that's the thing. So I just turn that one little thing off, and my life instantly gets better. The reverse is also true. If I take a drink, my life is going to go from 0 to horrible in about 60 seconds. But I choose that. So that's the concept I'll leave you with tonight. You have a choice to make your life what you want it to be, for the most part. And I'm hoping that you have made some good choices for 2017. And again, just give yourself the gift of trying. You know, say, well, I'm overweight, and I my whatever, my blood pressure is bad, and my whatever, my diabetes is bad, and you can change that. You still have, as long as you have the breath of life, you still can make some positive changes that will mitigate the negative and accentuate the positive. So I'm hoping you heard something that was helpful to you tonight as you begin the new year, 2017. Happy New Year! We'll see you soon. Thanks for watching, too. Hey, if you liked what I said tonight, give me a thumbs up. If you like my channel, subscribe to me. The only reason why I'm doing that is because I notice that a lot of other YouTubers do that quite a bit, and it doesn't help. It doesn't hurt. It probably doesn't help me that much. And I don't do this for monetary gains. So there are a lot of people, I guess, actually make their living being YouTubers. So, anyway, I won't quit my day job anytime soon. All right, thanks for watching. Light up your world. Light up your new year with a pipe and a good tobacco. Enjoy life a little bit. Okay? Thanks for listening. Nice talking to you. Happy New Year. Bye.
I have slipped the surly bonds of earth and danced the skies on laughter-silvered wings. Sunward I've climbed and joined the tumbling mirth of sun-split clouds and done 100 things you have not dreamed of. Wheeled and soared and swung high in the sunlit silence. Hovering there, I've chased the shouting wind along and flung my eager craft through footless halls of air. Up, up the long, delirious, burning blue, I've topped the windswept heights with easy grace, where never lark or even eagle flew. And while with silent, lifting mind, I've trod the high, untrespassed sanctity of space, put out my hand and touched the face of God.
The beggar man and the mighty king are only different in name, for they are treated just the same by fate. Today a smile and tomorrow a tear, we're never sure what's in store, so learn your lesson before it is too late. Hold your head up high till you find the bluebird of happiness. You will find greater peace of mind, knowing there's a bluebird of happiness. And when he sings to you, though you're deep in blow, you will see a ray of light creep through, and so remember this: life is no abyss. Somewhere there's a bluebird of happiness. The poet with his pen, the peasant with his plow. It makes no difference who you are, it's all the same somehow. The king upon his throne, the jester at his feet, the shop girl, the actress, the man on the street. It's a life of smiles and a life of tears. It's a life of hopes and a life of fears. A blinding torrent of rain and a brilliant burst of sun. A biting, tearing pain and bubbling, sparkling fun. And no matter what you have, don't envy those you meet, it's all the same. It's in the game, the bitter and the sweet. And if things don't look so cheerful, just show a little fight. For every bit of darkness, there's a little bit of light. For every bit of hatred, there's a little bit of love. For every cloudy morning, there's a midnight moon above. So don't you forget, you must search till you find the bluebird. You will find peace and contentment forever if you life is no habit. Somewhere there's a bluebird of happiness.
Well, this completes Channel 3's broadcasting day. KCRA-TV in Sacramento, California is owned and operated by Kelly Broadcasting Company with studios and offices located at 310 10th Street in Sacramento. KCRA-TV is an affiliate of the National Broadcasting Company, and Channel 3 transmits from California's tallest structure, the 2,000-foot tower located 1.5 miles north-northeast of Walnut Grove, with 100,000 watts of video power as authorized by the Federal Communications Commission. Portions of today's broadcasting schedule have been presented complete or in part by Mechanical Reproduction. Have a good night and a good morning.